This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Buying a car shouldn't eat up your week. That's why Carvana made it convenient. Car buying that fits around your life, not the other way around. You can get pre-qualified for an auto loan in just a couple of minutes and browse thousands of quality car options, all within your terms, all online, all on your schedule. Turn car buying into a few clicks and not a full week's endeavor. Finance and buy your car at your convenience on Carvana. Financing subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply.
At Chipotle, we also have a playlist. Guacamole as it's being hand-mashed. The sizzle of adobo chicken on the grill. The chopping of onions and cilantro. We call our playlist Real. Order now. Chipotle. For real.
Meet the most capable CR-V Honda has ever dreamed of. The all-new CR-V Trail Sport Hybrid. With all-terrain tires and available enhanced traction control, it's built for wherever the day takes you. Heated front seats and a heated steering wheel, ideal for winter drives and crisp early starts. And with generous cargo space, it's ready for big gear and even bigger getaways. The CR-V Trail Sport Hybrid. Learn more at honda.com/CRV.
At Strayer University, we help students like you go from, is it possible? To anything is possible by offering access to up to 10 no-cost gen ed courses, so you can reach your goals affordably and fast. Visit strayer.edu to learn more. No-cost gen eds provided by Strayer University affiliate Sophia. Eligibility rules apply. Connect with us for details. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
You're listening to...
They're gonna call it a hard foul. They're gonna call it a hard foul.
Mike, it's been a wild, sad week. What is going on in the country? There is no Epstein client list, but Bill Chisholm could let the Celtics fall apart. First it was KP and Drew gone, and now Al's going. Kornet's not coming back. Was Tatum's injury a false flag? Was it a false flag? Is Brad Stevens controlled by the deep state? We're going to investigate this all, and Marcus Smart's not real. It's mind control, people. It's mind control. We are Hot Foul, brought to you by the what, Mike?
Bands First Sports Network, Dick. And I got a PhD. I'm a doctor. I'm going to sell you guys medications that you can take so you don't have to vaccinate ever.
Yeah, it's 5G. 5G. Gerald Green, Jeff Green. Oh, God. That's where we're at. We got nothing to talk about. This team is not very good. There has been no new news in terms of any type of trade rumors or, Anthony Simon and George Niang is still on the Celtics. There's been no press conference welcoming them to say, hey, these are the new guys we brought in from trades. What do you think about being in the Celtic? Which is kind of highly unusual. There's been no announcement of a press conference, an introductory press conference for those guys. There was for the rookies that got drafted. So obviously, I guess the intention is they're excited about those guys. Any thoughts on no press conference for Simons and Niang? Does that mean anything to you, or what they might be looking at doing, or whatever?
Yeah, they're probably trying to move the salary, and they can't because nobody wants them because they're not good.
Yeah. I think, Mike, I think this is all a conspiracy. Bill Chisholm. I guess they're trying to move the salary. You've heard the rumors, I guess, with Simons being traded to Washington for Smart. I don't think Washington wants Simons. I don't think many teams want Simons. I think it's a reason why the Trailblazers ended up trading for a 35-year-old guard with $105 million left on his contract, and you get no picks in return because the
injury concern. Yeah, I mean, Washington has 18 guys on their roster, so I think if they trade Marcus Smart, they probably don't want guys back.
Probably not. No.
They just signed Marvin Bagley, and they have 17 guys on their roster. So I don't know if they're just going to waive Marcus Smart at this point. I mean, it makes sense for the Celtics to try to trade Simons for Smart because Smart makes less money than Simons. It's not a basketball move. I think it has very little to do with Marcus Smart, other than get fans a little excited for a guy who's played like 40 games in the last 2 years. It's about money, and the Celtics would probably have to attach a pick to Simons. It wouldn't be picks coming back to Boston. I know people on Twitter are like, oh, Simons is a better player. Celtics would probably get a draft pick back. No. Washington has other options. They could trade him to LA for Gabe Vincent and second-round pick. Those are the types of moves they're looking to make. Maybe it's the Knicks and Landry Shamet or something and a second-round pick. But Boston would have to give up draft capital to get a guy who plays not very much anymore. He's played like, what, Jim, 50 games combined in the last 2 seasons or something like that.
Yeah,
so
it's not. Yeah, I know. To me, it's like I kind of want to see what Simons looks like in the Missoula offense. I think like his offense could be fun for the season, where not a lot of fun things are going to be going on. I think potentially
Marcus Smart's not very good anymore.
I'm not talking about Marcus Smart.
No, I know. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, so like with Simons, I'm kind of thinking like his trade value could even be higher at the deadline. If there's an injury somewhere, a team needs a scorer. It probably makes more sense to hold on to him to try to get something. And then if not, like you can just let him walk. He becomes, an expiring contract. That salary hole just kind of opens up. You don't have to do anything. I probably think Niang's probably the easier guy to move right now if a team's looking to fill out their roster and they have a mid-level. And he's not a bad player to be on a contender as your like 9th, 10th player. But I tend to wonder what, their thought process is over there. And you hear about the potential Smart buyout, and there's a rumor out there that not to rule out the Celtics. I just don't think the Celtics would be that interested in him if he goes out into the buyout market. To sign him to the minimum deal is for a veteran minimum. What is it? Is it $2.5 million, $3 million?
I mean, if they can move off of like Jordan Walsh and replace him with Marcus Smart, fine.
Yeah, but you'd have to waive Walsh, and then you're still like picking up. You'd have to like stretch him, and so you'd still paying his contract. So I think you would have to. It would have to like move Jordan Yang into like space. Maybe send out a pick with him. And then you could sign Smart.
None of that makes sense to me.
It's just a money move. It would just be a money move. It would save like $5 million. So that's
the type of moves they make now.
Yeah, and that's the stuff you just. Again, we get back to what we've spoken about on the previous pod. The direction of the team. It's really kind of unclear. Do I think Smart could be a pretty good player on the Celtics next year? Sure. I mean, he's comfortable here. He knows what they do. They don't have a lot of good players, so bringing in one that is pretty good isn't a bad thing. But I just don't. I don't think it's a realistic thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Celtics definitely have some moves to make. I mean, their roster is filled out. Brad Stevens did say that this is the roster going into next year, but I figured they got to move someone because they got to get under the second apron.
Yeah,
I think they're like $300,000 over, so that could just be like cutting JD Davidson, couldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know like what that would get you. I don't know how much of it is guaranteed. I think it would get you under the second apron, and then you don't have to carry anyone into that 14th spot. You could just, that 15th spot, you could just leave it open.
Well, thank God, Jim.
Yeah,
thank God they can do that. That's, I'm in the same place I was in the last pod. Like, if this is where they're going and they're going to do it again next season, I would be trading Jaylen Brown and Derek White, because what are we doing? We're planning for 2027. I would be getting the assets I can get for those guys, because 2 years from now, they're going to be a lot older, on really big contracts. So, I mean, Derek White will be, 33 in 2027? Jaylen Brown will be 32? I guess.
Yeah, Derek White's contract is never going to be bad because it never gets over 30. Unless he falls off as a player. But to your point, it makes sense.
It does. If they're not going to spend money this year or next year, what are we doing? You should be getting into the lottery. You should be trying to get the first pick of the draft. You should be resetting so you have assets to trade guys to get in here. If we're not going to compete in 2026 too, if we're going to be under the first apron in 2026, let's go. This is fucking stupid.
Well, the question becomes can they even get under this apron? It doesn't feel like teams want their guys that they want to
Good.
trade.
I'm glad they can.
Yeah. And the guy that they probably could easily move and would have a market for would be Hauser. And there's no basketball reason to trade him. He is a guy you want if you're trying to rebuild this thing and play with, we've talked about ad nauseum. So
the other
that would just be a pure money dump on a player that has value.
Yeah, the other one would be Jaylen Brown.
Well, I don't think they would just money dump him. That would be
they would get a lot back, but
Yeah.
you would probably. I mean, that move would get you under the first apron, hypothetically.
Yeah, well, depending on what you get back.
What you get back.
Yeah.
Well, now they have until the trade deadline, though, right, to get under these aprons.
Yeah, so they have actually until the new league year.
Yeah, so they have time to figure this out. So, and that's why the Kristaps Porzingis trade pisses me off, because why not just hold on to him to the trade deadline and actually get value back? If he goes to Atlanta and plays like he played at the end of the season last year, I'm going to be pissed, because now you're talking about not, George Niang. You're talking about first round picks coming back to you in a trade for him. I think that being rushed was. I think that was bad.
Well,
I
think the counter to that, and what I would understand, is that his injury history is what it is, that you are risking not being able to move him if you wait to the deadline. If he's not able to play or the illness creeps back up, there is a chance you would not be able to move him in this type of deal where you save money. If you're getting an onus from ownership, then that's a huge risk. Not that I don't disagree with you on the basketball part of it, which is the discussion I'd rather have, but again, we're not having.
Yeah.
Basketball decision, I guess, Mike. We touched on this a little bit. We probably should have given it much more time. What are your actual thoughts about Dame Lillard? And, there's been additional reporting that's mutual interest. So what's your thought?
Next year's a wash. I mean, this season's a wash anyways. So, he's not going to cost any money. He gets along with your star players. I don't see... If they want Damian Lillard and it doesn't cost them anything, it's not. I don't care one way or the other. I don't think it's going to hurt them to have him. If he can be a guy who's willing to, just be a scorer and come off the bench, or he's your starting point guard. I don't know what it would look like. I'm not ready to talk about that, but I don't see how it hurts you to have a guy that can score the basketball like Damian Lillard playing for a $5 million contract. Now, if he's demanding money, then let him go demand that somewhere else. But if he's willing to play here and get paid by Milwaukee, I don't care that they only have 13 guys on the roster this year, because the team sucks anyways. If he comes in and he's pretty good next year, then it's a great move. I wouldn't be against it.
I'm only for it if they're actually gonna put together a team next year. A team that can contend. I have no interest in doing it if this is another bridge year and doing, working Tatum back up to speed or whatever. Then I want players that can complement Jayson Tatum very, very well, that can fill that roster spot better. If you're not going for it, then I want other types of players.
I hear what you're saying, but I bet you if Jayson Tatum was sitting on this pod with us right now, he would tell you, you're wrong. Damian Lillard is perfect for my game. I think I think that's where like Jayson Tatum's head's at.
Yeah, but he's not. That's fine. But but Dame Lillard is going to be 37 years old off an Achilles. Like, is he even going to be able to play? Is he going to be an good offensive player anymore, Mike? Like, do we even know that?
I don't know, but I think like if he's not, you can just release him. It's not like a huge risk.
They just don't have many good players on the roster. I guess is to my point. And so like in some of these spots are locked up. I'd want to see the spots that are available go out to players that I know will be good.
And they're locked up. And like to your point, they're locked up because the guys that they signed, they gave 2 years to. Like, why would you give 2 years to guys who've never proven anything in the NBA? Why aren't they on 1 year league minimum contracts? Like,
you're talking Gaza and do you pronounce it Mano or Manoy?
Yeah, like why did they get a second year? They don't deserve a second year.
Well, I think you do that. It's smart business in the sense of if you value them with your scouting and you think they're going to be good players, if they come out and let's say they both have career years here next year, you wouldn't be able to keep them on a minimum the following season. They would get too expensive for you. So you would they did the same exact thing with Cada. They've done the same exact thing with Kornet, where they gave these guys 2 years on the minimum, and it afforded them well. So I think that's why they're doing that. But again, like to your larger point, there isn't a lot of available roster spots. There's none on this team right now, and there is a dearth of good players, and certainly at the center position. I think if you look at the center position for the Celtics right now, and I haven't done a deep dive, but
terrible.
Can you think of anyone that has a worse center rotation in the entire NBA than the Boston Celtics right now?
I mean, maybe Golden State. I don't even know if they have do they have a center on the roster? Other than that, it's us.
But if they signed Horford, they're probably better.
Yeah, for like the 40 games he plays. Yeah.
Well, he's played more than that. I mean, he plays about 55 to 60. It's not like he gives you nothing.
Yeah. No, it's pretty bad. Is Jordan Walsh's contract guaranteed? Like,
I believe so. Yeah, I can look that up.
Right, so let's stuck with that guy too. Like it's going to be it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough watching this team. I'm not looking forward to this season, Jim.
So his first 2 years are guaranteed. His final year is a team option. So I think next year is a team option.
Those first 3 years on a second round draft pick is guaranteed.
Yeah, I believe that's a contract they signed him. So it's a 4-year, $7.5 million contract.
He robbed the Celtics.
But he's on, well, $2 million's not a huge number, but he's on so next year would be the club option. So the Celtics could waive him next year. No problem. And I kind of assume at this point that's going to be happening. Unless he really shows something. You talk about the back end of the Celtics roster right now, and you look ahead to what's going on with. Oh, before we get to the rookie league, interesting tidbit that's been picked up. I don't know how interesting it is, but the Celtics got a huge TPE for Kristaps Porzingis as part of that trade.
Oh, did they?
So that would matter. It would have some significance if the Celtics wanted to build a real roster next year. Because if all they would have to do is get under that first apron next season, go to at some point during that offseason, and then they could use that TPE. At least that TPE would be available to maybe bring in a center, right?
Yeah.
Tie that to some picks. You have until July to use it. I mean, it would hard cap you because it's so big. Because you get past, so like once you use it, you'd be hard capped over that first apron. But to me, it's like if you're building a team, would probably be the last option to use. But is it even available to them if they're not looking to spend next season? What I want more than anything else, I just want this team whether it's Chisholm, I think it should be Chisholm, or someone to come out and talk about what their plan is going forward. Like, what was there an onus from ownership to like cut spending? I don't want to hear like this ownership team will spend. Like, if at some point, if there's a chance to win or whatever, and they're not afraid to spend. I want to know what the plan is now, and does that plan affect the following season? Like, I want an honest accounting of this.
Nobody's asking.
No, I feel like it's being asked behind the scenes, and you get in the stuff that is being reported by King or Forsberg or whomever, but it's not.
Nobody's asking.
No, like that should have been the question asked yesterday.
I don't even know if half these reporters know the rules. That I don't even know if they're at like the point where they realize that the Celtics are most likely going to be under the first apron next year, and why they would choose that route. Like, I don't even know if they're there. Like, it's like they're all playing catch up. Like, we were talking about this during the playoffs, and they just started talking about the second apron like during the fucking draft. Like, nobody's asking the right questions. It's fucking annoying.
And if the answer is yes, the follow-up needs to be why. Because it's monetary penalties. We're not talking basketball penalties. So the follow-up needs to be why a guy that just spent $1 billion of his own money, $6 billion as the ownership group, including a private equity firm involved in this, not even a real person, a firm involved in this, putting in close to $1 billion. Why it's an ownership group that just spent this much money is worried about spending.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd like to know.
That needs to be the follow-up question. Like, is it because they're going to go all in and whenever that opportunity comes up? Because and again, my follow-up would be, look, let's say next year your plan was in 2 seasons to jump back in, but let's say next year an opportunity, a player that could, change a championship design for next season becomes available. Are you just sitting that out because of tax reasons? Like, I understand not wanting to go with the second apron for a couple seasons, but are we just avoiding any tax at all? Is that the ultimate plan? Are we resetting this completely? And does that mean we won't be involved on, plays that could really help this team?
Yeah.
And like, I don't know the answer to that. But it'll be interesting, what they decide to do. And I wish someone would ask a question and some follow-ups. And I also feel like Bill Chisholm needs to get out and not just Brad Stevens be out there answering these questions. I feel like he right now is, you have not seen him. You have not seen him outside of going to a few games. He hasn't been in front of a microphone after the season ended. It's very interesting that he is not involved at all so far as a new owner. Not at all. Yeah, and I don't mean to go all Alex Jones like I did at the beginning of this pod, but it is like, it's curious that
we could use Alex Jones right now
as a new owner at all.
We could use him to ask these questions. Like, I got a lot going on. Like, why did Matt Cameron step down as the drama for Pearl Jam? Like, what's going on? What's going on? It's blowing my mind. Like, Pearl Jam's response to that wasn't like, he's a great friend of ours and drummer. It's like, we're ready to move on to the next level of our band, or whatever they said. It's like, there's something going on there. Something happened with these 62-year-old guys in Pearl Jam. What happened, Jim?
I don't know.
Matt Cameron stepped down.
I don't. It's crazy. It's crazy. Is that tied to Luke Kornet?
I think it is tied to Luke Kornet. I think it is.
So I got excited for this, Mike. Actually, I do like Summer League basketball. I did watch.
Basketball is fucking terrible.
I did watch Cooper Flag last night. And
you watched him go 5 for like 27?
Yeah, I did. And I'm curious. Like, what? All right. What are you interested?
Summer League basketball. We used to do like, who was that little guy? That little guy who would hit the threes. It was him and like another little
Carson
guy.
Edwards or whatever.
Carson Edwards and the other one. People are like,
Tremont Waters or whatever.
Like, Carson Edwards scored like 50 points. Like this, it tells you nothing. It tells you absolutely nothing. There isn't a guy from Summer League that I've watched that like has turned into anything on the Celtics that wasn't already something.
Or wasn't a high draft pick. Like
that's what I mean.
Or Tatum.
I mean, Semi Ojeleye would average like 15 points a game. I mean, that's what
Semi was a decent little player here his rookie year and was actually helpful on that 18 team. Remember he covered.
But he couldn't score and he wasn't talented.
No, but like he was a rotation player on that team that went to the Eastern Conference. He played a lot in that Buck series covering
Giannis.
Well,
yeah,
but like he wasn't like he was a complete zero there. I thought you saw something from Grant when he played. Pritchard we thought wasn't a player, and then he turned out to be a very good player. Based on Summer League. But I guess what I am interested in is the two guys. I think we know Shyman can play in the league. Obviously, you're watching to see it'd be good to see him dominate offensively, I think. But two guys, I just don't know. Like, I want to see my first look at Hugo Gonzalez. They talk about him.
Hugo.
You talked about, and you're very passionate about this, how you wanted the Celtics to change the way they play, to not just be a 3-point shooting team. Well, the two guys they drafted, the two top picks are two guys that aren't like these hunting for 3-point shooters. They're hard-nosed players, according to scouting reports anyways. I'm just going off of what I read. Hugo's a lot of cuts, motor constantly going, great defensive player. It sounds like he's like as strong as a bull, and never stops playing with the energy level and passing and cutting and those type of things. So I want to see.
The kid they got from Kentucky looks like he's a good passer from the center position.
Good passer, ball handler. There's some Luke Kornet like qualities based off.
Probably what they're looking to develop there.
Yeah, some Luke Kornet, Rob Williams qualities. I'm not saying he's ever going to be Rob Williams. Not saying that, but
I hope he isn't, because then he'll never play.
Yeah, good screener, good passer, good rebounder. They're saying he needs help with boxing out, finishing around the rim. There's going to be an opportunity to play at centers. So if he can play at all, to me, I'd probably like to see him over most Celtics centers they have on the roster right now, if he can play at all, if there's something to develop there. So those are the two things I'm interested in. In the other draft pick, Shulga, I don't know a lot about him. I know he's from Ukraine, and the story, his personal story, is a pretty inspiring one. Where he, came over here and then COVID hit, and then his country's being attacked, and the emotional ties he's had back and forth is. I want to see. I don't know much about him as a player, but
who's this?
This is their other second-round pick.
Oh, the kid from the A-10?
Yeah, he played Utah for a little while, then transferred in. Shulga, I believe his name is. So,
he's got good size for a guard.
Yeah, so I'm hoping he does well, because the personal story there is kind of interesting.
I think he's going to be pretty good. He just looks like 6'5", playing point guard. That's nice. That's nice size.
Yeah, it is. But
I think, honestly, Jim, I know you get excited for Summer League, but I think we actually learn more about these guys when they're in the G League. I think that's when we learn more. I mean, he and the kid from Kentucky, they're both on two ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I honestly, they're playing against more NBA competition there. It's better brand. It's a much, much better brand of basketball.
Of course.
The G League. Like, I just lose my mind watching Summer League. I just think they get like 10 personal fouls each. It's, well, I'm looking forward to watching the fat guy too.
Kenny Lofton,
who dominated Victor Wembanyama in the USA versus France, like kids game or whatever they call that, a couple summers ago. I'm sure he'll tear it up. Do you know if the fat guy from NC State's playing in any of these teams? Remember him from the NCAA tournament?
No, I have no idea.
Well,
I have no idea.
So Pearl Jam, David Bruzzi, was he the old drum member?
What?
The first one that Eddie Vedder got rid of?
He's not coming back.
No, he's talking shit. He's all over Reddit talking shit about when they got rid of him, and like it's firing everybody up.
Yeah, well, whatever.
You don't find this stuff interesting? Like this is.
No,
I find
they have Miles Norris, who
gossip
was
to be
under
very interesting.
Miles Norris, who was under a two-way last year, who's going to be
They
playing.
signed him at the end of the season.
Yeah, Jordan Walsh is on the roster.
Yes.
The rest of the guys I don't really.
Miles Norris can stroke it. He can shoot threes.
Yeah,
that's
he can.
And I think he's like tall. Yeah, man, David Bruzy, he's talking mad shit.
Yeah, the story with him is that glorified version of a Pelican. So
that's about him, right?
It's about him. Yeah, he showed up, and this whole song, he's playing drums to a song he's being made fun of in, which is kind of cruel and not very cool of Eddie Vedder to do, but that's what they did. Mike, any closing thoughts? This is kind of a quick pod. Any conspiracy theories? What's your thought on Jeffrey Epstein list not being released? Does it have anything to do with the Celtics? Is there something bigger going on there? Is the world going to explode?
All I have to say about Jeffrey Epstein is this. To all the folks who are like, I was on the plane, but I didn't know I was going to these bad places. When you land on something called the jizz pad, where did you think you were fucking going? So, and my other thing to the people with the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracies, and this is what pisses me off about all of them. If you talk to Republicans, they're like, there's no way that Donald Trump has anything to do with it. If you talk to some of the Democrats, they're like, there's no way that, the Clintons are on the list. Like, if you guys just fucking opened your eyes and stopped, like, getting in your corners, you would see that they're all fucking guilty. And they all either knew it was happening or they were involved, and that's disgusting. And Pam Bondi, don't even get me started on that lady. Don't even get me started. Did you see Pete Hegseth this morning? He came out with a video with drones flying around in front of the Pentagon. And then Donald Trump posted a picture of him with the White House Twitter account dressed up as Superman. Like, people think this shit is normal, Kimmy. People think this shit is normal. That we're throwing tear gas at fucking farm workers.
Well, I want to know, is Bill Chisholm a real person? I think he's a false flag. You never see him. He has nothing to say. Was he on the Epstein list?
Alex, I heard that Bill Chisholm is in line to be the next drummer for Pearl Jam.
That's right. So, all right. We're going to
Theo Epstein.
Hopefully, at some point, we'll get some Celtics news this offseason that improves the team, but it's probably going to be more likely that it's money.
You want my Celtics prediction?
I would. Can I close it with the one last Marcus Smart thought? I wouldn't hate it if he came back.
I wouldn't hate it either. I like
I would enjoy that. At least something to look forward to.
I'll tell you why I would hate it. I would hate it if he started over Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, he probably would too, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, because Peyton Pritchard is a way better player and has earned it at this point. And that's why I would have reservations of bringing him in. Like, the only way I would bring him in is if he could drop, like, you're a backup, man. If you're coming here, you're like the eighth guy. Peyton Pritchard averaged 16 points a game off the bench last year. And when Jayson Tatum didn't play last year, he averaged 20 points a game. 24, actually. So we're going with the better player. And you're going to have to accept the role of playing like 10 minutes a night. And if he can do that, and he'll have opportunities to play more when guys sit, he could be the Drew Holiday replacement in some ways. But that's the only way I would bring him in. If he comes in with an ego at all, I don't want him back.
Yeah, and like this has to be Jaylen Brown's offense, and you got to play in a style that is effective. Like that's what I just hope. When we talk about a change of style, it has to be next season a little bit, because I think you got to do it to best effectuate Brown's strengths, and so that's getting out and running. That's putting him in some high screen and roll actions. Those are things that you just want to get him going downhill and feeling good about himself. And he's a pretty good isolation player, too. So I'm not opposed to seeing more of that out of Brown.
And I think in Game 5, he showed some creativity as far as getting guys involved, right?
And he clearly got some sort of injection before Game 5, because he had a boost in play where he looked more like himself, whereas Game 6, he did not look healthy again. So hopefully, to me, that's the thing. Like, if you can come out and you got a team that's willing to run, play fast, and really play to Jaylen Brown's strengths, if Smart can do that, I'm interested. I don't want to slow it down style at all next year. I don't think that's
The only
gonna.
way they can win is to be relentless and be running all the time. I mean, you play with that style of play, you could be entertaining and win some games in the regular season, and you could be talking about Peyton Pritchard like averaging close to 20 points a game for a season.
The best thing that could happen to the Celtics next year is if they're going to stick with Jaylen Brown, which I hope they do, because I do. I've come more around to your thinking that you have two guys that can be 1A and 1B in a championship team in Brown and Tatum. So I to me, we want to go out looking at the end of the season, when the season ends, and say, well, Brown proved he could be a number one. His team wasn't very good, but he averaged 26, 8 and 6, and he was consistent. His turnovers as the season went decreased, and he plays a little bit different style, but we know if Tatum's going to need some time, that he can be a number one. And that's, to me, like the biggest thing here. If you walk away, I think, and your conversation is any different than that, then I think you have some bigger decisions to make probably at the end of next season.
Hey, do you think the John Collins move to LA moves the needle at all for the Clippers? It felt like kind of a weird trade. I don't know what Danny Ainge didn't get anything for that. Kind of stumped the salary.
It kind of shows like he didn't have much trade value at all, right? Like John Collins, he just never became a player that I think a lot of people hoped he would become. But he is a high flyer, and I think that pairs well with Harden really nicely. I mean, the Clippers.
Nice pickup for Miami to get Norm Powell.
The Clippers are that team that you always feel like should be really good and really good playoff team, and then you remember James Harden plays for them, and they fall apart at the biggest moments. I mean, I think the teams that are most interesting have had the most interesting offseason. Obviously, the Nuggets. What OKC has been able to do to lock up their three best players, I think it propels them to having the best offseason. I know, like, we look to new players on teams, but I think they've now had the best offseason. And I think if you're sitting there today out east, the team you just have to kind of watch and look at, this is a make or break season for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So is there another move for them to make before the trade deadline and before the season starts to try to improve their chances? Is there a Darius Garland move in there to bring in maybe a bigger scorer or a better two-way option?
I mean,
because the East is wide open for them to get to the finals. And then, as you know, like,
I think a move that makes sense for both franchises is for LA to part ways with LeBron and LeBron to play on that Cleveland team. It makes sense. It makes Darius Garland probably fits better with Luka right now. Or Jared Allen probably fits better with Luka right now. LA maybe a little bit worse next year, but they can build towards something. And LeBron for one season in Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley,
I'd be really hesitant. If I'm a Cleveland team that wants to win a championship, I'd be really hesitant of breaking up that Evan Mobley, Jared Allen lineup. I think that has become really key to have that type of size to get over the hump and win a championship in the finals. It was the biggest bugaboo for the Pacers that Miles Turner was not a good player in the finals, and they really had no other bigs. And OKC dominated the glass and dominated that series. So I think you might be right.
I think maybe I just don't like Evan.
Hard time giving him up, though. I really would if I'm trying to win this thing.
Or maybe it's DeAndre Hunter that goes with Darius Garland.
Yeah,
it's still, to me, it kind of makes sense for the Lakers because you're not winning a championship right now with LeBron, but you are bringing in pieces to help you build towards that championship with Luka. And for Cleveland, you can make the argument you could win the championship. Now you have the guy that can take you over the top.
If you can get there and you improve your team a little bit, we saw it with Toronto and Golden State. If one of those guys goes down, or two of those guys go down over at OKC during the series, you could win the championship. And if I'm Cleveland, so this is it the second year under the second apron? I believe it is. So you're gonna have to start removing pieces. And this isn't a great Cleveland team, but this is their shot. To me, this is
their shot.
This is their shot, and
they gave up a lot to get
how
Mitchell.
that happens. Huh?
They gave up a lot to get Donovan Mitchell. So it's like I would be working really hard to try to get LeBron. I think that's exactly what Mitchell needs. He needs LeBron. A lot of teams could use him, but I don't know if it'll actually happen. But with him not extending the contract, I think there might be something to it.
Yeah. Any other team that
Orlando
focused on?
Definitely Orlando.
Yeah.
I still think, I would be trying to move the Jonathan Isaac contract to probably bring in even more shooting because they still have plenty of defense without him. They have some good young players I thought showed something in the Celtics series last year too. So yeah, Orlando I think could be very good next year. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's Cleveland and the Knicks in Orlando, right? It's their Eastern Conference. So, I mean, we'll see what Milwaukee does, but yeah.
All right, Mike, with that, we'll close out. Tip off today's 4 o'clock. We'll talk to everyone soon.
Yep.